I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team family? Welcome to the channel. It's your girl, DYANAROZAY. I'm here to talk to y'all about Bravo and Britt Eady. Y'all, Bravo has responded to Britt Eady's claims, and it is nothing nice, okay? They called it a dog and pony show, lacking merit, substance, and legitimacy. They even said if the court take Britt Eady's complaint seriously, or as seriously as Britt Eady took it, they need to throw it out, okay? Because Britt has to know that nothing she wrote, whoever the lawyers are for Britt, nothing they filed is an actual actionable cause for a lawsuit, is what they're saying. So y'all stick around for it. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on with that. Also, I have an update for you on Kandi Burruss. This is some bonus tea, okay? Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker, so stick around for that. Hit the like button, share the video, become a member of the Supreme Team family. I appreciate you guys. Make sure your notification bells are on, and let's get to it. Okay, let's start with Kandi Burruss first, you guys. Look, she may have had the same type of lawsuit with her landlord over the restaurant. Y'all remember she had the restaurant Blaze Steak and Seafood. She had a similar lawsuit against her landlord that Kenya Moore had with the landlord over the spa. So both were claiming that they had repairs that the landlord should have reimbursed them for, and it didn't happen. So it looks like they may have withheld rent. I wonder if they talked to each other about that before they decided to do it. But anyways, Kandi and Todd have an LLC called the Tucker Burruss Restaurant Group. And they recently were handed a settlement from the court that they had to pay $140K to the landlord of the property. Okay, so Blaze Steak and Seafood, they were holding back rent, and I guess they've been in court for a minute. And with their other legal battles, the divorce, Todd and Kandi and the landlord, both parties, had agreed to drop all claims. So both Kandi and Todd's LLC and the landlord's LLC, they said, we're going to drop all claims, probably because the fees with the lawyers were racking up higher than the what they said they owed each other, right? Anyway, the judge said, cool, I'll accept that. However, the $140,000 is still owed. So he is asking that Todd pay that $140,000 because it's still a legally binding agreement, which has to suck, you know what I mean? But I'm sure that they were probably smart and had it in some sort of, account, just holding it there until the judge made a decision. But y'all talk to me in the comments and let me know what y'all think, that both Kandi and Kenya had the same situation. And I do believe that Blaze is closed, so there's no eviction or anything. They did, close down all of their restaurants. But y'all talk to me in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this, okay? Now let's get back to Bravo, because listen, one of the things that has been argued over the last couple of years is that human resources has the same type of effect on, or should operate the same on, a reality TV set as it does, at the corporate job or at Starbucks or retail or wherever, right? And what Bravo and Truly Entertainment, or Truly Original LLC, did was give the interworkings of their policies, what the talent actually signs up for. So this changes things, because Bravo is the creme de la creme. I know that their contract is probably what everybody uses. MTV, VH1, OWN, you name it. If you have a reality TV contract, I'm sure it is pretty tightly aligned with what Bravo makes their talent sign. So check this out, y'all. Okay, so y'all see it right there. The defendants is Truly Original and Bravo Media, and this is their preliminary statement. And I just want to shout out Docket Diva. This is where I get it from. Anyway, it says that Edie's complaint is an attempt to rewrite history and in her own contract and her own contractual commitments. Now, even with that line, I just want to put it out here. Y'all know that Britt skipped the reunion. And I don't know what they put in their contracts to force them to go. Probably that they're not going to pay them or that they could even owe them money. But that's what they're stating here, that this is an attempt to rewrite history and her own contractual commitment to them because she no longer likes the consequences of joining a popular, long-running reality series well known to feature authentic, unscripted dialogue, conflict, drama, and confrontation, along with many other dynamics of a group of women. Edie was not misled, and she certainly was not victimized by the defendants. Having joined the franchise in season 16, well into its long-running history and publicly known format, Edie knowingly walked into the spotlight and expressly accepted the risk inherent in unscripted television. Indeed, before filming, Edie reviewed and presumably negotiated a talent agreement with counsel and executed clear, unequivocal disclosures, acknowledging that she could be, get this, they said that she signed on to it. She knew it, she read about it, and she agreed, unequivocally agreed, that she could be portrayed in unfavorable, embarrassing, offensive, or fictionalized ways. So they could do with the story what they choose to do with the story, is what they said. It goes on to say that she could encounter provocative conduct or speech from other cast members, and that production could involve stressful or emotionally challenging circumstances. So every point that Britt made about how she was put in a stressful environment, how she was made to think that the pictures were of her, but they really wasn't her and all that stuff. She's like, this is all harassment. And they said, well, maybe at Macy's or, whatever other corporate, maybe over there at Amazon, but not here. This is a TV show. And these are the rules that you signed unequivocally in black and white. And they said you showed up on set. You had already signed a talent agreement that you reviewed with your lawyer. So you knew what it was. We don't have any responsibility to that. Okay. They go on to say that the complaint contains contrived claims against the defendant under New York and Georgia law. So they said this is contrived under New York and Georgia. And then they go on to list them, and we already know them. Harassment, retaliation, breach of contract, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealings, negligence, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Last paragraph. They said that Edie's claims should be dismissed in their entirety. Y'all, the lawyer said that this lawsuit is nothing more than an effort to convert the core elements of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, a series that often features verbal sparring, provocative speech, and heightened dramatic tension into alleged harassment. They said that this basically is the recipe of the show, and you're trying to take what you knew was the recipe of the show and turn it into harassment after the fact. Dispositively, the plaintiff is writing expressly assumed, listen to this. The plaintiff acknowledged in writing expressly assumed the risk of production, basically saying she understood the risk, how production plays, and she actually signed on to that in writing. and that she released the defendants from claims of negligence, emotional distress, and other torts arising from production. These provisions doom her tort claims. Yikes. Next paragraph. The defects in Edie's complaint do not stop there. Edie's tort claims fails because the defendants cannot be vicariously liable for fellow cast member Kenya Moore's alleged conduct, which, as pled, was personal, unforeseeable, and outside the scope of employment. So they're using Britt Edie's her filing against her. They said if you saw it as personal, as unforeseeable, that you didn't see it, how did we see it? They said you knew what we knew. Okay, y'all walk into these scenes, we film them. That's our job. Wow. Okay, listen. It goes on to say that what Kenya did was outside any scope of employment. Any scope of employment. We didn't see it, which is why we fired her. But you can't hold us responsible for something we didn't know about. Yikes. And they also said that Britt did not say that we knew about it. So basically, she doesn't have any witnesses. She doesn't have any statements. She doesn't have anything verbal or in writing that said that production knew Kenya was going to pull this stunt beforehand. It goes on to say that Edie's attempt to assert harassment and retaliation claims under New York state and city law similarly fails. She did not labor in New York. Her reliance on the Atlanta Code of Ordinances fares no better, as the ordinance does not create a private right of action for aggrieved individuals to seek money damages in court. Then they said, here's a real smack in the face. They said, even crediting her allegations as true, nothing she describes remotely constitutes actionable harassment, particularly in the context of a reality television interpersonal interactions. Bingo. So just so people know, again, what happens on reality TV does not happen in your workplace because there's a specific set of rules. People are expected to do something different on reality TV. And they're saying that she was given the list of rules. She was given all of the things that could happen in her contract. Then they said, even if she had plausible alleged harassment, and in parentheses, it says she had not. But even if she plausibly had alleged harassment, she has not. Edie's own allegations admit that Moore is the one who engaged in the conduct at issue, and Edie fails to identify any basis for the employer's liability. Don't sue us, sue Kenya, is what they said, child. Oh my goodness. Kenya, I know you said you still have a good relationship with the network, but dang on, okay? They said critically, Edie's ex-defamation claim, as pled, is not a desperate testimony theory, but instead sounds exclusively in sexual harassment, a claim that fails because Britt Edie does not plausibly allege that any of the conduct that occurred against her is because she's a woman. And that is required. That is the statutory element that she cannot satisfy. So they said the stuff that she's even saying happened to her, there's no legal basis. There's no statutory element here that shows that that played out that way. Poor Britt. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it says Edie's contract and quasi-contract claims also fail at the threshold. Workplace policies are not contracts. They're policies, okay? They're guidelines. They're things that we ask them to do in good faith, but it's not a contract. It's not either you do it or you're fired because you breached. They do not create enforceable obligations. They cannot support breach claims as a matter of law. Wow. And then it goes on to say that the plaintiffs attempt to transform internal policies into a binding agreement is legally baseless. And in any event, these theories merely duplicate her other claims. So they said all of it should be thrown out because she's trying to take internal policies as factual binding contracts. It does not hold up in any court and under any law. Oh my goodness. So that's where it is, you guys. And y'all can talk to me in the comments and let me know what y'all think. But that's wild. So y'all, I know there are a lot of people who were siding with Bravo and saying that if this is a case, you know, like when Britt threatened Kenya with whips, chains, and pow-pows, they said if she was to win her lawsuit with this, then Kenya would be able to win a similar lawsuit with what Britt had said and done against her, correct? Some people are standing very strong in that, and then others are saying that they do believe that Britt has a lawsuit based on just simple HR policy. But as I stated, Bravo said there is no such policy and that these HR claims is absolutely crazy, is absolutely crazy. And this is what they actually sign on to. Not only do they sign on to it, but they have to sign it before they even step foot onto the set. Okay. But y'all talk to me in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Do y'all feel differently about what's going on here with Kenya Moore or Kenya Moore? My apologies. What's going on here with Britt Eady? Do y'all feel differently now that you've heard Bravo's side? Or do you think, Bravo is full of ish? Okay. Pay that woman out her money. Okay. Y'all talk to me in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Become a subscriber. Become a part of the Supreme Team family if you are not already. Hit the like button. Share the video. I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. Until the next time. Bye-bye.